Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam.
We're not in Vietnam.
I know we not, babe. I know we not.
You gotta say something else then.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Breakfast with the Brookses.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Just wanted to check in. Hopefully everybody is doing good. We waiting for everybody to get live here on YouTube. Make sure YouTube clicks over.
Please share.
Welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses, everybody. We're super excited to have you guys on. Today is another day. LaRonda, good to see you.
Good
to see you.
Pray all is well.
What's going on in Jacksonville? Have they closed all the schools in Florida, LaRonda? I'm just curious.
Ain't the schools everywhere closed?
Huh?
The schools not closed everywhere?
Oh, no, they're not closed everywhere. They're not closed everywhere.
Oh, I thought they was closed everywhere.
No, this sounds pretty good. So, guys, listen really quickly. While you guys are coming in the room, we want you guys to do us a huge favor. Share this out. We need you to connect as many of your friends as possible.
Good morning.
We're going to help you out. So, Antonio, thank you for jumping on. Listen, if this is your first time on Breakfast with the Brookses, can you please do us a huge favor and put first timer in the chat? For those of you guys who are new to the show, just put first timer in the chat. We're super excited, Teresa.
And also, if you can put where you're joining us from.
Go ahead.
And what? Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you just cut me right off.
I'm sorry.
Just jumped in on my...
I'm sorry, my flamingo is out today.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Y'all, the flamingo in Cherie is out 40 beats. Hey, what's up, Anthony? Let's go ahead and show everybody our face because you are tripping. Y'all, we got our shirts on this morning. We are aspiring Corona survivors.
Please
wash
your nasty hands.
Them nasty hands.
And wear a mask.
And wear your mask.
I need to put that on here.
Yeah,
we need a shirt to say that too. To say wear a mask.
I know that's right. Sidna, do me a favor. Invite somebody to the chat this morning. Invite somebody joining for Upper Marlboro, Maryland. But we knew that. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, guys, we're going to be talking about some things I think that's really, really critical. If you are challenged right now with how to get along with the people that you love the most in these close quarters, put me in the chat. Let's start this off right. Let's put me in the chat. For those of you guys who are just joining in, my name's Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a coach. Sitting here next to me is the lovely light-skinned
Cherie Brooks Jr., author, speaker, relationship, and life balance coach, and Corona survivor.
So today is day 3. We have been quarantined by your doctor.
For 3 days.
Tell the people why.
For 3 days. So I was exhibiting.
For 3 days. No, it's for 14 days.
No, we've been on quarantine for 3 days. I'm on. My doctor put me on quarantine as a precaution more so than anything else. I was displaying some minor symptoms, and because of a pre-existing health condition that I have, my doctor put me on 14-day quarantine, and today is day 3.
Yeah.
And so we were sheltering in place for the most part. Anyway, not sheltering in place. We were self-isolating.
Yeah, that's a better word.
And practicing social distancing.
Shelter in place is when there's a shooter.
Yeah, and practicing. No, the corona is shooting. We just can't see it. And we were practicing social distancing anyway, but I had developed a viral infection, and it was not going away. And so, as a precaution, they chose to quarantine me to ensure that it does not turn into something else.
Yes,
getting further exposure.
We don't need that.
And so, feeling better, much better today. So we will be just in here.
With each other.
Looking at each other.
Trying to figure out what in the ham sandwich we got happening. Guys, so listen, we got a bunch of me's in the chat. We're asking the question really quickly. Antonio is a first timer from the DMV. Appreciate you for jumping on, Antonio. Thank you so much for rocking with us. We're going to hang out for a few minutes this morning. We're going to give you guys some tips and a few strategies. But I want to know, before we get started, what are some of the things that you guys what are you doing that's working? I know you're at each other's throats. What are some of the things that you're doing that's working that really is helping you to be able not to lose everything in terms of your mental during this situation? I know for us, baby, we've been tested. It's been a test. And part of that is because of our temperament. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. I will tell you guys on the front end, Sheree and I, for those of y'all who are brand new and you've never seen us or never been on our show, we have a relationship academy. It's called MAPS, Marriages and Parenting Successfully. And one of the things that we do there is we help to grow people's relationships very intentionally, on purpose, with great design. And the goal is to grow people from a healthy perspective. How do you grow in relationship with other people and grow it functional versus dysfunctional? Because if like a tree is just allowed to do its own thing, it'll grow wherever it goes, right? Right. And that could be good, that could be bad. For the neighbor next door to you, it could be bad if your limb is hanging clean over his boundary line. But for those people who know anything about, trees, sometimes they need to be pruned. Sometimes they need to be clipped, so that they can grow in a specific direction. And that's the way relationships are. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to be dealing with this subject over the entire month of April. In our MAPS Relationship Academy, we have 5 different group coaching platforms. The couples, the parents, which meet on Tuesday nights in separate rooms at separate times. And then we have the singles who want to get married, singles who are positioning themselves to be able to do it the right way, meaning the way that lasts. And then we have
the men. You have a men's only group, and then we have ladies only group. We actually have 2 ladies group. We have a single ladies group, and then we have a ladies group for the coupled and married ladies. Right. And so actually, I guess it's 6 groups now. Technically. We split the ladies into 2 groups. Yeah. But in those groups, we really delve down on issues that affect relationships, whether it's communication, whether it's trust, whether it's forgiveness, the various issues that people deal with in relationships, and just helping them to be able to grow their skills in those areas so that they can have successful relationships. Why do we do this? I've been married twice before. Yes. We've been married successfully now for 21 years. I know how to do it wrong. I did it wrong 2 times before. So have made pretty much all of the mistakes you can make in a relationship, and went through the heartache of that, went through the pain. So my daughter suffered the results of that. Glenn was married one time before me, and he has also been divorced. And he got to see the pain of that. He also grew up in a home as with a single parent with his mom. His parents got divorced when he was very young, and so he was a child of divorce. And so because of our own personal experience, we realized that we wanted to be able to help people to not go through what we've been through. I also do have a background in psychology, and so being able to bring those 2 things together, our life experience. Glenn was a pastor for 14 years. 14 years. Well, longer than that if you count. Yeah, full time. He was a youth pastor, and then he was an associate pastor.
Yeah, I've been in ministry for over 20 years.
He's been in ministry most of his life. And so we bring all of those components together to be able to provide people with tools and tips to be able to develop successful relationships. I am a firm believer that there's not anything that you encounter in your relationship, if you both are committed, that you cannot overcome in a relationship. Absolutely. I think that everything is fixable. If you are willing to work on it. And I think that oftentimes what happens, relationships end not because of a lack of desire, but it's a lack of skill. People don't know. Say that again. It's not because of a lack of desire. It's because of a lack of skill. People just don't know how to move past things. People don't know how to move through certain things, and so they just give up. It gets hard and you just give up. Secret for those of you that are married or that are looking to get married, marriage is work. Whew. Say that again. Marriage is work. It's not you just get married, you fall in love, and you have the lovely wedding. The angels are and then it's going to be perfect. No, that's a lie.
That is not true.
Marriage is work. Any relationship is work. Your relationship with your children is work. You don't just have a child and automatically you're going to have a perfect relationship with your children. You have to work on having a relationship with your children. Just because you had them does not automatically mean you have a relationship.
Please say that again for the people in the nosebleed section.
Just because you had them does not mean you automatically have a relationship with them. And this goes for parents. I know some of my custodial parents are saying, well, I understand that for the parent that's not in the home. No, that goes for you that's in the home too. that doesn't mean that you automatically have a relationship with your child. They will do what you tell them to do because they're in your house, but that doesn't mean you got a relationship.
And you bigger than them, and you control all their food and their little stuff.
And the true test of a relationship with your child is you'll see when they are an adult what your relationship looks like. The goal is, number one, you're raising them to become an adult, but you want to raise them to be a functional adult so that you can have a relationship with them as they're an adult, and that relationship changes. Your relationship with your children should change as they age.
You don't want to roll this morning. I can just be quiet.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm good. I'm good, y'all. Listen, I love it when my wife's flamingo starts to show up a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about how your personality can really become the difference maker in your relationships. And when you know you, listen to me really carefully, guys. When you know you can get out of your own way, thus making it easier for people around you to navigate. Y'all hear that? IG, we came to y'all a little bit late this morning, but I just want to welcome you guys to Breakfast with the Brookses. If you are on IG with us for the very first time, my name's Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. This lovely, light-skinned young lady drinking the coffee is my lovely wife, Cherie Brooks Jr. And she and I together have written 7 books that have all spoken or speak to relationships on some level, whether it's parenting, marriage, whether it's even the educator who has to take care of other people's kids. Like, we've written a lot of books relative to those topics. Appreciate that, Teresa, for dropping our website in the chat on IG. Go to the link in the bio on Instagram and you can find out more about us. But for you guys here on YouTube, we're going to be talking through this for the next probably foreseeable future, just a little bit here and there. But more importantly, we're drilling down on this subject in our MAPS Relationship Academy. And we certainly want you guys to join. If you are not a part of our MAPS Relationship Academy, we want to invite you to become a part of that. It's really easy to do. All you have to do is go to thecrcoach.com, click on sign up for a free discovery session. That gives you an opportunity to get in a room with me for about 15 minutes. And all we're trying to do is figure out how can we best help you and get you placed properly if you're fit for our team. So let's talk a little bit about, babe, just this idea of your personality and how that affects our being able to coexist in this close environment.
Right. I think that for those of you, if you have never done a personality assessment with you and your loved ones, during this time, do yourself a favor, sit back and really observe each other. We also do offer an assessment online if you'd like to take that so that you can have a real idea of what your personalities are. But depending on your personality, it's going to show clearly during this time while you guys are isolated together.
Joseph said we sitting too close. I know, look, Joseph, IG making us not practice social distancing.
Oh, Lord Jesus. So for us, for anybody that's ever taken a DISC assessment, you know the different personalities. But if you haven't, we overlay the DISC assessment with animals to make it a little easier to identify.
It's called Welcome to the Jungle.
It's called Welcome to the Jungle. So you want to explain?
So anyway, there are 4 basic temperaments that everybody has. All human beings have them. The question is not which one are you, but what percentage of each one are you? And that you get to know that from the assessment that we give. And so I want everybody, all my lions, if you're a lion and you're on the chat, a lot of people in our MAPS Relationship Academy are here this morning. And so they'll be able to chime in because they know what they are because they've taken the assessment. The question is, what animal are you? Put it in the chat. What animal are you? Put it in the chat. If you've taken the DISC personality assessment with us, you know what animal you are. I want you to put which animal you are in the chat really quickly. And so today we're going to talk about one of the ways that you get through trying to survive being in close quarters with people is knowing you, knowing your personality, not guessing, not wishing, not you think, not I'm probably, not I know this because I know me intellectually and I've never taken any kind of no, we're talking you know it because you've taken an assessment and you know for a fact this is who you are. So put your animal in the chat. On Instagram, if you're part of the MAPS Relationship Academy, put your animal, your primary and secondary. So you have 4 basic temperaments. If you know anything about the DISC assessment, the D is considered the lion. That's who we call the lion. So I want you to understand that the lion is your decision maker. That's the decision maker part of you. Lions are generally very, very decisive in the sense that they respond by making decisions quickly. They don't think very long about stuff, not when you're a high lion. Now, if you're a very low-level lion, you will be very different than a high-level lion. Cherie's lion is very low relative to mine. I'm 99% lion. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think deep when it comes to decision-making. I just move. I react. Mm-hmm. She typically responds because her lion is much lower than mine. Does that make sense?
Depending on the settlement. If I'm in a setting where there are no other lions, then my lion rises to the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so she knows this information because she's taken this assessment. And by the way, if you want to take the assessment, put me in the chat. Put me in the chat. And what we'll do is we'll send you a link. Or you can DM me on Instagram and say, I want to take the assessment. I'll send you a link where you can take the assessment. There is a cost to it. It's a one-time cost. It's not expensive at all, but I will tell you that it's a 22-page document, very detailed, and it'll help you really navigate. So number one, we said the D is a lion. The I on the DISC assessment we call the flamingo. Now, I told y'all already.
The life of the party.
I told y'all already that I am a high lion. I'm also a high flamingo. I'm 99% flamingo in my natural. I'm 95% flamingo in my adaptive. The assessment is pretty dope. Deirdre says, take the assessment. No, this assessment changes the game not only for you, but for your family, because when you know who you are, you can navigate better on purpose and by design. So flamingos are the life of the party. We're pink. We are socialites. We're the ones that listen. The party don't get started till we show up.
They on 100 all the time.
That's why I gotta calm myself. All the time. I gotta calm myself down regularly. There are times I have to tell myself, "You're not allowed to have coffee today," because you are too wound up.
Right.
You are too wound up. You can't even pull yourself down. But I know that about me. So, like, I'll give you a quick example. If we're in the house in the morning, sometimes I have to recognize this morning I can't have coffee because I woke up wound up.
Right. Yeah, like a couple days this week.
Week.
So.
Oh, Lord, she can ready to tell the story, y'all.
So, even though I'm home, I've been teleworking. So, I'm home and I'm working. And so, I have my office set up. Mm-hmm. I normally have it in the dining room, but I moved it in the bedroom so that we could both close our doors. Mm-hmm. So, I can have more privacy because I have to make calls. And so, I'm in my office, and every so often, I hear this tapping on the door. And I'm like, yes. What you doing? I'm working. Oh, okay. All right, I'll be back. Then I'm getting texts. What you doing? You want to go to lunch? I'm like, it's 10 o'clock. Can I? Now, normally, I flex on Fridays on my normal schedule. I'm usually home on Fridays. I have a flex schedule. So I'm normally home on Fridays. And usually, I'm just relaxing around the house. But I realize when I do that, because he works from home, he'll always be asking me, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? So I was like, okay, let me go in the room. So pretend like I'm not here. I get off at whatever time, 3:30, 4 o'clock, depending on what time I start work.
Right.
I'm not here. Pretend like I'm not here. Don't bother me. Yes? You want to call? Leave me alone.
And one of the things that you got to understand, flamingos are highly sociable, guys. That's why we're pink. If you look at flamingos in the wild, I encourage you to Google flamingos and just watch them. They move in packs. Rarely when they walk with swag. You know what I'm saying? Their necks be bobbing. They got a song in their head even when nothing's playing.
Even when they walking slow, it's this.
It's just this move about, right?
Attitude, just like
What's going on, Daryl? Good to see you. So we're talking about personalities, and we're talking about how when you know who you are, what your personality is, it can change the entire landscape of how you interact in a close, confined environment, particularly in this quarantine situation where today is day 3 and we got 14 days.
And will you calm down, God? You okay?
No,
you gonna be all right?
I just realized I looked at the calendar.
We're gonna go for a walk. We're gonna put on our mask and go for a walk outside so you can get outside.
The doctor said we can go for a walk.
Yes, as long as we have our mask on, we can go outside.
Well, okay, all right. Well, anyway, so
y'all
let's
pray for me.
Let's
pray for me.
Hey, Carla, good to see you, girl. Listen.
Okay, and
so here are the other two animals. So we talked about the lion and the flamingo, which is the D and the I. So let's move over to the S and the C. So the S is the chameleon, and the chameleon is an animal by which, or the S is the animal that's super supportive. That is the person that wants to make sure people are okay. They are people.
They're adaptable.
They're highly adaptable. And when I say adaptable, what you have to remember about chameleons, they can ebb and flow and change. They generally don't like to, because that's work for them. You see, Cherie's got to let y'all know. You see her, she's wagging her chameleon tail. So, and my lion is getting frustrated because it's like, bruh, can you keep that over there? You get what I'm saying? So y'all see how I know? And so I'm able not to go ahead and go with that, because I'm realizing she's channeling a little bit of her flamingo.
Yes, because I got about, 40%?
You got about 40% flamingo. Yeah, so sometimes she will switch gears. I'm like, no, put the flamingo back. It's not time for the flamingo to come out, because I'm more than enough for both of us right now, so you need to calm down. So, but guys, the chameleon is super detailed oriented. If you are in a room with a chameleon, they love order.
Right.
They love things being in their place. They're highly structured, and that's why they generally are extremely great teammates, because a lot of times they will keep everything sort of ordered so that everybody knows what to do, everybody knows where things are. And so that's Cherie. She's probably 80, I don't know, 70.
I think it's like 80%.
70. We should have broke out our graphs, but anyway, it's like 70% chameleon, because your highest animal is your turtle. That's the C. So the D, the I, the S, the C. The D is a lion. The I is a flamingo. The S is a chameleon. And the C is a turtle.
And don't be mistaken by thinking that turtles are slow. We're not slow. We're very methodical.
Very calculative.
Very calculating. But also, turtles are related to lions.
Yes. Why? Because
a turtle can be a snapping turtle.
Right. And the other thing that you need to understand about lions and turtles, they both are results driven.
You see him push my turtle away.
You see the lion and the turtle are cousins.
Yes.
Because they both are results driven.
Right. Just
put that in the chat. Results driven.
Just get it done.
Just the facts, ma'am. Let's get it done. Now, one of the things that you'll find out about turtles, that turtles are highly analytical.
They overthink things.
They overthink almost everything, because they generally process everything in their head long before they execute on it, long before they talk about it. Very rarely do you have talkative turtles. Turtles are generally not talkative. Turtles are also introverted. So your lion and turtles are cousins, but the lion is the extrovert. The turtle is the introvert. The lion is results oriented.
The turtle is results oriented.
But the main difference in them is that he's an extrovert and
introvert.
And the turtle is an introvert. So when you got all these temperaments in all of us, first of all, let me just say this so that everybody's clear. All of us have all four of these animals in us.
Right.
So just because you have...
your numbers may be higher on one than the other, but each of us possess all of them. That's like how we started this morning. My flamingo is rising to the top today, partially probably because of being cooped up in the house. And so, but I have flamingo, I have lion, just as well as I have chameleon and turtle, but those are my two highest.
Right.
In my natural, I'm naturally more chameleon and more turtle, but depending on the situation, depending on how I'm feeling, depending on what's going on, the environment, my other animals will come up. Like I stated, if I'm in a situation, say I'm working on a project and there are no other lions rising up, my lion will rise up, because my turtle is detailed, is results oriented too, and so it'll be like, look, we need to just get this done, and my lion will rise up and be like, okay, look, my leader will come up, and I'll flow in my leader as a leader and take that role on, because there's no one else stepping up to do that.
Right.
Also, if I'm in a situation, I don't know why my flamingo. It just
and it does it random.
Yeah.
See,
he always says my timing's off.
Yeah. Cherie is still learning how to call up her flamingo. let me help y'all out.
It comes up on its own.
It does, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, this is not the time. Like, and you don't even realize. And then you're looking at me like, you see that eye, you see the eye, like what? Like, let me tell y'all so that you're clear. When you become really good at this stuff and you become versed in it, you can actually call up or summon that particular part of your personality. Or you can put it at bay and say, listen, not today. You're not allowed to show up today. And that's what needs to happen when you're in a close confines with people, because I need to know, okay, her flamingo is riding high. Here's going to be a problem. If you let your flamingo go at 99% and she's channeling 100% of the 40% she has, y'all going to tear something up in here. It's getting ready to be a situation in here, whatever, good or bad.
Well, you let it out last night. We had us a little dance party.
We had a dance party last night, and so there are times where you purposely want that to happen. So Cherie and I, for date night, I'm from Baltimore, and I don't know if anybody from Baltimore, if y'all remember back in the day, DJ Scotty B. I worked in radio for a number of years, long time ago, right? I used to work at 92Q in Baltimore, Radio 1. And Scotty B and V103, all these places. So I'm familiar with that whole landscape. So I haven't heard Scotty B DJ in probably 20 years, right? He is on Facebook DJing house music, and I'm like, OMG. Clear the table, she's doing the air fryer thing, cooking the French fries.
I was in the kitchen cooking dinner already. We said we was going to just do burgers and fries. I was doing fries. And so the music comes on. I was like, okay, I cleaned off the whole counter. I was like, okay, let me set up the bar.
Right.
Because I used to be a bartender.
Yeah, she used to be a bartender back in the day. So Lord Jesus, it's getting ready to be a party.
So he's sitting on the other side of the breakfast bar. And I was like, so, sir, what would you like to drink?
I'm talking about
that. Some drink. I give him a little appetizer. I do some mozzarella sticks as an appetizer.
We doing our thing. It's just the two of us. So the flamingos are on display. Y'all hear me? And when I say they on display, boy, I mean, listen, so much so we went hard in the paint, y'all, for about a good hour. And then after that, we were sweating. This one right here is sitting there talking about. She was like, "Oh Lord Jesus,
I need to sit down.
Oh Lord Jesus, sit down. Let's sit down. Let's sit down, right?" And what I realized is that we both let our flamingos go full vent. Now, I can go harder as a flamingo much longer than she can,
right? Because
that is who I am naturally.
Right.
It is not who she is. That's my primary animal, right? So if I'm not careful, y'all ever meet them people talking about you play too much? They don't know when to stop. They don't know when the joke is over. They don't know when, okay, the punchline has been made. You can move on now. And now it's becoming an irritant. That's my animal. They are probably high flamingo, but here's the problem. They don't know how to control it. They don't know how to back off and sit down and put that flamingo back in its cage, because the flamingo is now upsetting the children. Does that make sense? And I'm just using that just as, just kind of just as an example. But the point I'm making is guys, you have to learn that when you are in close confines with people, and you don't know what animal you are, you don't know your personality because you've never taken an assessment, you will hurt somebody. You'll hurt somebody's feelings. You may physically lash out. You may cuss somebody out, and you're trying to figure out where did that come from, because you are not really understanding what's going on, and you have to be able to back up and slow down.
Right. And so over these, like I said, we've been staying in the house, since this whole thing has been going on for the most part. But one thing that, I'm hearing constantly from people, especially people with children, is they're really struggling with how to maintain their balance, how to create some healthy boundaries and be able to communicate with their kids during this time and let them not get on their nerves, them not get on their kids' nerves. And so, we've talked to several people, and one thing I just want to encourage parents first that are home with their kids. The kids are home. They're out of school. The school year is over for a lot of them. Don't stress out over this time. Realize that, in a normal, in what was our norm, parents, your children are usually gone 8 hours out of the day. You're gone 8-10 hours out of the day at work. So take advantage of this time that you have with your kids. Don't make this a stressful situation. Yeah, you want to make sure they're getting something educational every day, but let's be honest, you're not a teacher, most of you. And I don't think the schools honestly expect you to become a teacher in this time. I think that if you create, I think the biggest thing is to create some type of structure, make sure there still is some regimen going on every day, because children are accustomed to their routine. So there needs to still be a routine. And if you keep a routine in place, it's going to help eliminate a lot of the stress. Because if they still have a set time that they get up in the morning, they still have a set time that they go to bed, they still have set times throughout the day that they do certain things, this is going to eliminate them coming to you every 5 minutes because they're bored.
Yeah.
So create a schedule. I was working with one of my clients this week, and I helped her create a schedule where we put it on paper. She put it up on the wall. What time they supposed to get up?
Cherie is a life balance coach. She does this stuff in her sleep. Go ahead.
What time they're supposed to get up and get dressed? What time is breakfast? What they do after that? They got chores, whether it's just cleaning up their room, picking up their clothes, doing something, and then they got time to do something educational, time to go outside, time lunch. It's mapped out throughout the day so that they have it. It's visual so that they can look at it themselves. So now they're not coming to you, Ma,
right,
Ma, I ain't got nothing to do. Ma, what time is it? This is your reading time. Go read a book.
Right.
Go do something. So you eliminate some of that stress for yourself. This way you guys, and you can sit down with your kids and come up with it. Be like, okay, so we got the day.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday. This is, you got 8 hours out the day. What are you going to do during that time? Normally you would be in school.
Yep.
I'm not expecting you to sit and read and do stuff all day.
Right.
Because you're home. But let's map out a schedule. And especially if you got older kids, let them contribute to creating that schedule, because then you're getting their buy-in.
Yeah. So I really quickly, and I hadn't formally done this, but I said I just kind of laid out 3 things really quickly that you guys need to know if you're going to practice growing healthy in relationship, particularly when you're in a quarantine situation where y'all sitting on top of each other and you can't do anything about it. That's just the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future. Number 1, I want you to know yourself.
Right.
Know thyself. Put that down. Number 1 is know thyself. Know yourself. Put that in the chat. Everybody put that in the chat. Number 1, you need to know yourself. A great way to do that is by taking a personality assessment. You're in the house. You ain't got nothing else to do. Why don't you go to the crcoach.com, sign up for, as a matter of fact, if you are listening to this, we'll give you a discount on it. Just let me know. Don't take the one that's
on the website.
Shoot me a note so I can email you a special code to give you a 50% discount rate on our assessment, okay? So I want you to be able to take it. If you've never taken the DISC assessment and you've never had it overlaid with the animals, this will be a great start so that you can know yourself. Know thyself. Know yourself. Because when I know me, I generally will exert a little bit more self-control. I think one of the reasons why people don't exhibit more self-control is because they don't know their self.
Right.
Does that make sense, guys? And the reason why is that if I know I have a propensity toward this and I don't want that to happen, what I'll do is I'll safeguard against that by positioning myself so that I don't find myself down that place. I don't find myself saying, going off and then telling her she made me do that.
Right.
That doesn't happen with me. You know why? Because I am not going to, first of all, allow her to drag me into a conversation that's going to cause me to go off. We were on our Facebook Live this morning right before we jumped on. An old friend that we had a chance to chop it up with yesterday, hilarious individual, said something on the feed, and I purposely said, I ain't going there. I ain't messing with her. Because she'll have me all the way down the switch track, and before I know it, I'm going to be laughing. I'm going to be off course. I'm going to forget the time. I'm going to be late to breakfast with the Brookses, and then I'm going to blame it on her. That's crazy. The challenge is that if you know yourself,
right,
you can guard against yourself. Number 2, and Cherie just said it, I want you to practice boundaries.
Right.
Practice boundaries. Listen, guys, boundaries by a simple definition is a property line.
Right.
It's where you start and the other person begins. There are certain things, parents, listen to me carefully, that is not your job. You are responsible to your child, but in many cases, or for your child, but not necessarily responsible. I'm sorry, let me say it again.
Responsible to them,
but not for them. In other words,
you're not responsible for them not being bored. You're not responsible for them having fun. They can do things for themselves. Now, if you got an infant, that's something different.
That's a little something different.
Yes, you have to be more hands-on. But they can go in their room and play by themselves.
Correct.
They can figure out something to do. Your job as a parent is not to entertain your children.
Come on now. That is not my job.
That's
and
not
when our kids were growing up, particularly our son, we would say, listen, that's not my job. I'm not in charge of your fun.
Right. Now
put that in the chat. I'm not in charge of your fun.
Now that does not mean that you don't spend time with your children.
That's not what we're saying.
I'm not saying that. Yes, it is your responsibility to spend time, to invest time in them, but it's not your job to entertain them. So during this time, because we got a new norm that we're learning to adjust to, where we're in the house together.
Yes.
They're not going to school for 8 hours a day. You're not leaving out to go to a job. You have to create a routine. You have to create a time that, especially, if you're home teleworking, you can't have them coming in the room every 5 minutes bothering you. So you got to say, okay, from this time to this time, this is mommy's schedule or this is dad's schedule. This is what I'm doing during this time. If you need something, we'll have everything set up for you. If there's an emergency, of course, yes, you come in, but you have this to do during that time, so you're occupied too. But if you don't create them a schedule that lines up with your schedule, you're going to be constantly clashing with one another, and that's where that annoyance comes in. That's where you guys are getting on each other's nerves, because now it's like will they just leave me alone? No, you haven't created a system for them to leave you alone.
And with that being said, it takes us right to number 3.
Also goes for your spouse.
Listen, I know it. We getting ready and we're gonna go through this. I ain't playing with you. I ain't messing with you. Y'all see her take that shot? I'm not talking to her. Listen, guys, when we do this unpacking throughout the month of April in the MAPS Relationship Academy, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to drill down and show you how to literally create a healthy expectation list. Here's the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is many of you guys are going into this without any game plan. And because of that, you perform like you don't have a game plan. So imagine, if you will, the team that shows up to play the other team, and they never studied the film on the other team. They never created a game plan as to what plays are they going to run, what plays are they going to. Generally, what happens in that situation is that you see a blowout. When you see a team get blown out, when you see a team get scorched, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, it doesn't matter. Here's the truth. The truth is that somebody failed to properly game plan for that team. That's a coach's problem most often, that they get completely scorched. Because at that particular point, unless you're dealing with the best team in the league against the worst team in the league where there's a talent issue, in most cases, it's a coaching problem. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to practice that. You're the coach. You're the leader. You create the game plan. It's called set the expectation, set the boundaries, and then execute it. And the last one I need you guys to do is to pace yourself by giving yourself grace.
Right, and giving them grace.
Cherie just said it. You guys are home for 8 hours a day. And then you're still home for the rest of the night. Hello? So from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed,
24/7.
you are there with each other. That's not normal, y'all. This COVID-19 situation ain't normal on no stretch, right? And, right, burnt to a crisp like a bacon. Come on, Daryl. You exactly right, brother. You fired up at this point because now you're done. Here's the problem. The problem is that you don't have a structure. You don't have a new game plan for a new situation.
Right. You're trying to go about things as normal, and it's not normal.
Absolutely. So I want you guys to stop for a second, and I want you to recognize that you need to pace yourself after you've put the game plan in place. Grace yourself. Pace yourself. Because now you need to develop a new habit.
Yes.
That's the real issue. You need to develop a new way of doing things